Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining this Zoom orientation meeting. This meeting is being recorded, so anyone that is unable to join us will be receiving the recording. I'm going to share my screen, and unfortunately, my camera is here, but my PowerPoint is here. So I'm going to be looking away, but if you have questions, or if you would like to participate when it's the time for group participation, please feel free to jump in. I see, Natalie, that you have responded into the chat, and that's also a great way to just engage with me during this meeting. I know a few of you have already been a part of the animal care team, and so this might be some review for you. But I just want to give you a quick update of anything new that's going on at the center, and then you get to meet each other. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen now. And if you have questions, it might be easier actually if you unmute and then just ask the question, because I might not be able to see it right away. All right, so hopefully, can you let me know if you can see the PowerPoint presentation? Okay, I see a thumbs up, so that's good. Okay, perfect. Let us get started. So just wanted to welcome you again and congratulate you on becoming our next cohort of animal care training program interns here at the Marine Mammal Care Center. We're so excited to have you on board. Not only are interns really helpful in helping us get all the work done, but you are also getting a really great learning experience and getting that hands-on work with marine mammals, which not a lot of people will get to do. So we're excited to have you on board. During this presentation, I'll be talking to you all about Marine Mammal Care Center, um, get a closer look into some of the species that we'll see here, and you can learn more about our patients. I'll also go briefly into different volunteer roles that you can participate in case you want to stay on with us after this internship is done and you want to learn more about different roles here. We'll go over some safety policies and procedures. We'll go through any next steps and kind of what to expect on your first day. But like I said, you can jump in and ask questions at any point in time. All right, so our mission here at the Marine Mammal Care Center is to inspire ocean conservation. We do this through marine mammal rescue, rehabilitation, education, and research. By becoming an animal care training program intern, you're helping us to support the rehabilitation portion of our mission of providing care to our patients and helping us to return them back to the ocean. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and most of our funding is through grants and foundations. We also are very community-based, and so anyone that's visiting the Marine Mammal Care Center, they're not paying for tickets to come here. They're coming here for free. But if they feel so inspired to continue this mission of ocean conservation, they can make donations, which also rolls directly into our funding. We have different fundraisers throughout the year as well. And so everything that we have to raise to keep this center running is done by us. A lot of that work is accomplishable because we have such a strong volunteer team. Right now, we're functioning at a ratio of about 15 volunteers to one staff member. So that is over 300 volunteers. I think the number is kind of close to 350 right now, for about 20 staff members on site. And to this date, we've rehabilitated over 10,000 marine mammals. And actually, this number is probably from a few years ago. So we're definitely well over 10,000 marine mammals right now. A little bit about our history. We started as a part of Marineland of the Pacific. It closed in 1987 and was in PV, just right down here where Terranea is. But when that facility closed, our rehab facility moved on to this area that we're on now. We're actually a part of LA Unified School District, and so there are a couple of schools that are right nearby. But if anyone has not been here yet. You might have also seen the International Bird Rescue Centers right next door to us too. But all of us on this particular site are part of LA Unified. But in 2016, we became our own nonprofit organization, and we are responsible for our own fundraising. The way that we can that we are permitted to rescue, rehabilitate, and release marine mammals is through the West Coast Marine Mammal Stranding Network under NOAA. And so we are part of a network of other facilities up and down this coastline that also do this same work as we do. Some of them are responding to deceased marine mammals. Some of them are also doing the rescue, rehabilitation, and release of marine mammals as well. But it's a pretty cool network, which you can see in this map over here. I know it's a little blurry, hard to see, but you can see there is just geographical areas that these facilities are in charge of responding to. So we're down here in Los Angeles County, and we are also responding to marine mammals that strand along Catalina Island as well. But just to our north is California Wildlife Center in Malibu, and to our south is Pacific Marine Mammal Center in Laguna Beach. So each facility has its own jurisdiction, but we can transfer patients between different facilities based on who has or if anybody has a fur seal and we want to rehabilitate them together, we can always bring them together and transfer those patients. So we can collaborate with one another. We can share what we're seeing in the environment with another facility just so we can stay nice and connected and help these marine mammals even more. So you might be wondering, what is a marine mammal stranding? And it can fall into one of these 4 different bullet points. We are mostly dealing with these ones in the second category, marine mammals that are on the shore, and although they are able to return to the water, they're in need of apparent medical attention. So for a member of the public that doesn't have very much experience with sea lions, they haven't seen too many of them around before, or they're unfamiliar with behavioral cues, it might be difficult for them to tell which is a healthy sea lion or not. But if you look at this picture in the top over here, this is a severely malnourished sea lion pup. You can see all the loose skin. It's very, very thin. Its eyes are sunken in and dry. And so that animal should go into rehab right here. But looking at this group down here, it might be hard to tell who is in need of apparent medical attention. And I'll show you in a later slide kind of what we're looking at with these marine mammal strandings and the different cases that we get. All right, so the animals that we're mostly responding to are pinnipeds. These are flipper-footed animals. And we are seeing otariids, which are sea lions, and phocids, which are the seals. Just from your prior knowledge or anything that you might have picked up already as a volunteer at the Marine Mammal Care Center, can anyone tell me how to tell the difference between a sea lion and a seal? And this is when you can unmute.
Their ears.
Yes. What about their ears?
Sea lions have external ears, and the elephant seals have the internal ears.
Yeah, perfect. With the sea lions in this top picture over here, you can see those external ear flaps. And then if you look at this picture of the elephant seal down at the bottom, you'll notice there's no external ear appendage. There is a hole that leads to the inner ear, but nothing externally. They can actually shut their ear when they go down for a dive, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Is there anything else that this group knows about the difference between seals and sea lions?
Sea lions bark.
Yeah, the sea lions are definitely known for that loud barking sound. Sarah, I know you know if you're listening to an elephant seal or a sea lion. Because the sea lions, yes, the males will bark, you can hear them. They are that quintessential or sound. If you go to buoys or docks, and you can hear a lot of them roughhousing. Does anyone think that they can do an elephant seal sound? At least the pups. If not, then I'm happy to. And there's someone in the office that's peeking over the computer waiting for it. Yeah, the elephant seals, you'll definitely know them. They go. They make crazy sounds. Yeah, I got a thumbs up. Thank you. 2 thumbs up, in fact. But yeah, you'll definitely know if you're listening to a seal or a sea lion, if you hear those different voices going on. And if you step by my office or stop by my office and you want to hear more, you definitely are welcome to do that because I love impersonating them. But yeah, that's another great way to tell if you are looking at a seal or a sea lion. It's just by listening. What kind of sounds are they making? There's also kind of the body shape. If you look at this top picture over here, you can see the sea lion is standing up tall. They're kind of more sleek. They're less round than the true seals are. You'll notice a lot more like blubber is just on the true seals compared to like the length of their body. And so they've got that higher roundness factor. Is there anything you notice about their flippers? Well, if you take a look at the sea lions on top, you can see that they're actually standing on those front flippers. They bend, so that, and they're long, so they can stand on those front flippers, and they can actually turn their rear flippers forward and run on all 4 of those flippers. They have really strong power in their front flippers to swim through the water. Whereas if you look at the true seal down at the bottom, they've got short front flippers. You can see the nails on the front flippers as well. But on the sea lion, on this top picture, you can see the nails on the rear flippers. And the true seals are mostly using their abdomen or their those muscles in the core to swim with power. So those are all different ways to tell if you're looking at least between a seal and a sea lion. And we get sea lions in all different age classes. This picture here is of a pup. Up until like 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, that was the majority of the cases that we were getting. We were mostly getting malnourished sea lion pups that were having trouble finding food after weaning from their mothers. We also get sea lions that are called yearlings. They're 1 year old. And most sea lions are born in the month of June, and we call sea lion birthday June 15th, just because about 50% of them are born on that date. So if you are looking at a sea lion right now, we have a couple of different age classes on site. There's one little one, she's tiny, she's got soft fur. And then we have one that has sleeker fur. It's definitely longer, although they might weigh about the same. We have a yearling and a pup. So those are kind of the ways to tell the differences between the age classes. With the sea lions, they love to pile up on each other. They love to be right next to each other. They're very herd-like animals. So if one runs one direction, most likely they'll all run that same direction. We also get adult sea lions as well, and the males will look different from the females. The males will be a darker brown color, and they'll be a lot heavier than the females as well. But one very distinguishing factor on the male sea lions is they've got this, it looks like a bump on their forehead, but it's their sagittal crest, and that can show dominance within the group. They are going to be the ones that are ing all the time and establishing their dominance in the group. We also have northern elephant seals, which we call ellies here. Most of the ellies that we get are pups. They strand when they're about 3 months old, and typically we'll get them in March. We have one right now that is still a pup, but is a restrand from an earlier rehab facility. Once they come in for care, we'll give them this color marking, and each elephant seal that comes in will get a different color combination. We mark them this way because it's kind of hard to see different identifying markers that we put on them. When all patients first come in for care, other than the fur seals who rely on their fur for warmth, we'll shave a number into their fur. And you'll get very familiar with the feral marking system. It's kind of how we keep track of each patient. But on the elephant seals, that shave is not very visible. So we'll also do this color marking system on the forehead. When elephant seals first come in for care, they also get this orange tag on their rear flippers. When sea lions come in, if they're young, we might give them a little while just to grow into their flippers a little bit more, but those are tagged on their front flippers. And each tag marker also has a unique number on it that is a part of a series. All rehabilitated seals will get orange flipper tags. So if there is one that is rehabilitated and released and then comes back in for care, we can read that tag marker and know who that patient is. Did they strand in LA or did they strand in San Francisco? We can contact that facility that they were first rehabilitated from and then just let them know, hey, your animal restranded. Is there anything in their medical history that we should know? How long ago did they strand? Ask all those different questions. But yeah, that's a little bit about the identifiers of the elephant seals. Elephant seals can hold their breath for long periods of time. So you might see an elephant seal at the bottom of the pool catching a snooze, but they can hold their breath for up to 2 hours at a time, even though the regulars maybe about 5 minutes at a time. They also can get very, very large and are very sexually dimorphic. The males will be over 4,000 pounds when they're fully grown. And the females get to be about 1,000 pounds when they're fully grown. But we don't see any adult elephant seals come into the center. They are definitely way too big and too dangerous to rehabilitate. We don't really see them coming on shore. There are rookeries up north if you want to go check them out in nature. And it's pretty cool because they will come back depending on different seasons to give birth, to molt, to establish their territories. And so it's a really great time to learn about the different wildlife that we have along California coastline. The harbor seals are also phocids, just like elephant seals. They're definitely smaller than elephant seals will be. I think they max out around 500 pounds. I don't think they get any bigger than that. But you'll notice, or you'll know them apart from the elephant seals based on their spotted pelage. Oh, we have questions from the audience. Let me get to these. Sea lions have more flexible front flippers. Yes, definitely. That was one of the distinguishing characteristics, I think. And Friends of the Elephant Seal at Pedras Blancas Beach near Hearst Castle is where you can find them. Thank you, Natalie. Yes. With the harbor seal, they're around here. If you go down to the park right by the center, there's usually a couple that are hanging out down at the wall down there. And you'll see it'll look like spotted rocks that are shaped like bananas. They like to sit in this comfortable position like bananas. And they make tiny little moo, moo, moo sounds. So that's how you can tell the difference between a harbor seal and an elephant seal. Another one of the otariids, or more sea lion-like pinnipeds, are the northern fur seals and the Guadalupe fur seals. The northern fur seals we won't see in quite as high a frequency as sea lions and elephant seals, but there is definitely ways to tell them apart if you're looking at them. I think one of the best ways to tell if you're looking at a fur seal or a sea lion or versus a sea lion is to look at their behavior when they're in the pool. When they're in the pool, they're constantly twirling around. They're grooming their fur, kind of like sea otters are. They'll groom their face, their back, everything. They have about 250 hairs per square inch of fur, so they definitely need to make sure that they're keeping all of that nice and clean and healthy. They don't rely on blubber like seals, the elephant seals or the sea lions do to keep warm. They're mostly relying on that fur to keep warm. Guadalupe fur seals, we don't see that often, but they will come in every once in a while. We don't have the permits to rehabilitate them and release them. So we can take them in, stabilize them, and then send them on to another facility that does have the capability to do that. We'll also see other types of marine mammals that strand along our coastline, like dolphins, whales, porpoises. Unfortunately, a lot of the ones that are stranding on beaches when they're live are not doing very well, and we don't have the setup or the personnel to really take care of cetaceans like that. You can see these two team members for Institute for Marine Mammal Studies holding up that animal so that they can breathe. And that's kind of the care that these animals require is someone has to be on site 24 hours a day to make sure that they're upright and breathing. So we don't have the capability to do the rehabilitation here, but we can call someone who does and see if they can take that animal. All right, now I'm going to take a water break, but you're going to watch this video and see if you can tell me which species is which. All right, does anyone think that they know what we're looking at here? All right, does anyone have any guesses? What animal is this?
I think there might have been some guesses in chat, but I said sea lion.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for monitoring the chat for me. Yes, these are California sea lions. These ones are either yearlings or 11-year-old pups. But a lot of the times we'll teach them how to eat in those flat sleds on the ground. And then when they are ready for it, we'll move them to the. But yeah, those are California sea lions. Perfect. All right. Does anyone want to guess what species we're looking at here? And this time I've got my chat open. Yep, we've got a harbor seal now. So these ones are spotted. They're a lot smaller than elephant seals are. And these ones actually don't like to touch very much. In fact, they'll do a little like, get away from me, kind of wave at each other. Yeah, kind of like that. And then this is our third one, our third example. Perfect. An elephant seal. Yes, these are LEs. You can see the painted forehead. You can kind of notice the shave mark on this side of the body, but it's pretty difficult to see, especially if their fur is very close in color to their skin. And we're teaching them how to eat in these smaller pools. We do a lot of gradual steps with Ellies. They're so young when they're strand. They're about 3 months old when they strand, so they don't have very much experience with feeding themselves by the time they get to the Marine Mammal Care Center. So a lot of the really exciting parts about being at the facility when you start your internship is learning how to feed these animals and watching them graduate steps, watch them put things together and then gain their independence, play around, feed on their own, and then when they have gained enough weight and when we have deemed them ready to go, we'll pack them up into our kennels or crates, take them to the beach, open those doors, and then see them go home. All right. We have a question. Why is the head painted? Oh, I'm sorry, Sophia, I didn't let you in earlier. I did explain a little bit about the color marking. So I'll go back to a previous slide real quick. So with our elephant seals, their fur and their skin color are very close in color. So we will shave a marking into their fur, which I think you can, no, it's hard to see on sea lions too. You can see on the bodies right over here. This is the marking that we'll give them. So each of those angles represents a different number. The first patient that comes in for care on January 1st is patient number 1. And then as we go up in patient count, the numbers will start to grow. So this number is 3, and then we've got a 4, and I think this is a 1. I don't see if there's a line over here. So this is the 341st patient of that year. You will learn all about how to read these numbers, so I won't focus too much on it right now, but that is one of the identifiers for knowing who is who. And then these color markings are temporary. We do have to add them on every couple of days because they do wash off, but that's just another identifier to know who is who. So each patient will get a different set of colors. The first patient that comes in gets no color. The second one will be all blue across the forehead. The next one will be green, and so on and so on. We might add a second or third color depending on how many patients are coming in for care. We will also give them flipper tags on either their rear flippers if they're a phosid or their front flippers if they're a otariid, just because of where the skin is and where there's less like bone and cartilage that we might disrupt. So yeah, the color marking is just a different identifier. Are there any other questions before we continue? All right, we'll keep going then. So on this slide, we have your team of staff members. These are going to be the people that you're working very closely with. So we have our 2 vets, Dr. Michelle and Dr. Madison. We also have Kim, Megan, and Karina, who are going to be your main supervisors. Each of them has a different role as well. So Megan is our RVT. Kim is also doing the schedule, so you'll be letting her know of any additional scheduling requests after your initial start date. But anything before you start, just let me know and I can get those over to Kim. And then Karina is setting up a lot of the training modules. So everybody has a little something extra that they're working on too. Mike is our facilities technician, but he was a part of the animal care team, so you'll see him walking around as well. And then we've got Krista, and we don't have a picture for Claire yet, but they're also going to be part of the staff, part of the training team for you, and people who can answer questions for you. These are the staff, but there's so many volunteers that you'll be working with. We'll have animal care volunteers, we'll have seasonals. You guys will be working together. We've got a whole education team as well. So there's going to be a lot of people for you to know. Don't worry about knowing everybody right away. But these are definitely going to be the faces that you'll need to go to for every shift that you're here. So here is how the patient process works. First, a member of the public will call in and say that they are with the stranded marine mammal that needs help. So if you're in LA County, you're going to call 1-800-39-WHALE. This is going to be the hotline for our rescue team. So one of our rescue team members can respond, but the caller should provide kind of some good information for us, like where they are, what kind of animal, or if they can tell if they're looking at a seal or sea lion is helpful, the size. Those are all really helpful things. If they find an animal in a different county, we can direct them to the hotline to call for a different county. If they're in Malibu, California Wildlife Center's phone number is on the screen. Long Beach Animal Control is also on the screen as well. So these are some of the phone numbers that people can call to report a stranded marine mammal. These are some of the reasons why these patients are coming in for care. It might be due to natural events, natural things that are going on. The animal might be sick with pneumonia. There's leptospirosis that's in the environment. They might have parasites from the food that they're eating. Most of the cases that we're getting are suffering from malnutrition if we're looking at pups. And some of them can get cancer as well. We might see animals coming in with injuries from natural things like shark bites. Some of the elephant seals, when they're first starting to eat, we'll be looking at stingrays, and they might have a stingray barb kind of poking out of their face. They might get broken bones or have abscesses. There's different natural events that occur. If we're in an El Nino event, it might be hard for them to find enough fish. So there might be a lot more malnourished animals. The last 3 or 4 years have been domoic acid events, and so we might get a lot of animals exhibiting neurological symptoms. Some of the hardest things, though, are things like the human interaction aspect. So we might see some with gunshot wounds. We see them entangled in gill nets or have fishing hooks in their flippers or their lips. They might be eating debris, especially if it's during a domoic acid event and these animals are neurological. They can't really tell what they're eating, just that there's movement. So some of these are kind of the hardest things to see. But all of these reasons are reasons why these animals strand. There might be other reasons too, but these are the big picture ones. So if you look in these pictures over here, this animal has a gill net entanglement wound. Some of them are tight like this and can constrict their neck. We've had one where it was so tight and wrapped around the neck that after we removed the line, we did surgery on that animal, kind of removed the scar tissue. Because it was a male, it's going to get really big, develop a strong chest. And so if they kept that really tight ring of flesh, then that animal would not have the potential to grow or potentially feed itself. So we can do surgeries on these animals too. And now we can show you a rescue. Yes, come on over. Jules is here with me right now too, and this is a video of him rescuing a sea lion on a rock. So you can see he kind of went quietly with his nets, and depending on the size of the animal, where they're located, or just other conditions, he might be having a helper, or he could do it on his own. This was a pretty small animal, and so he's gonna just move it into the container up there. Notice the safety. That is something that you guys will be using too as animal care volunteers. You'll always have those big, thick welding gloves when you're handling animals like that. There we go.
They really work.
And they really work, he said. All right. And then once the animal has been successfully loaded up, Jules or another member of the rescue team will take it down here to San Pedro, the Marine Mammal Care Center, and that's where you will come in as a intern, animal care intern. So for each patient, we'll do a full exam on them. We'll be measuring them from the tip of the nose to the tip of the tail to get their initial length. We'll weigh them on the scale to get their initial weight. We'll supply them with some intake formula, which has sugars and oils and electrolytes and vitamins so that we can stabilize them. We'll come up with a treatment plan for them, which might include diets or medications. If an animal comes in with like fishing line or fish hooks in the flipper, we'll wait a little bit to do an x-ray on them. And this one, you can see that there was a fish hook in the esophagus, which they can pass naturally. We'll do a blood or collect a blood sample. We can run that in our blood lab and just see what they've got going on, and if that's something that we can give them extra medication for. With the tagging, that usually happens for the elephant seals on intake. Sea lions will wait a little bit and tag them in a little later. All right, and then all the work that you'll be doing, which includes preparing the food, tube feeding, cleaning, everything will help us to get them from this really skinny elephant seal over to this big, ready to go, chunky elephant seal. I think that's some of the most rewarding parts of it is seeing their progress from, like, you can see this elephant seal's hip bones to not being able to see any bones at all. And you'll get to participate in releases as well. You'll get to go, oops, oh no, the best part. There we go. You'll get to go with us on releases. Usually with sea lions, you open up that door, they run right out straight to the ocean. Don't look back at you. But they're so excited to go back. You'll see them kind of porpoising or leaping out of the waves, and just excited to go home. So we want to get them to the good weight. We want them to be behaving where they want to stay away from people, not go towards people. They want to hang out together. They're competing well with one another. They're using all four of their flippers. If we run them up and down the hallway, they're not heavily breathing. We just want to do that last check before release them back to the ocean. Elephant seals is a little bit of a different release. They usually take a little bit longer to get out there. But every time we go out on a release, it's super fun and so rewarding to see all your hard work. All right, before we hop into the next topic, does anyone have any questions for me? No? Okay, carrying on. So we do have different volunteer roles. In the animal care department, we have our interns, we have year-round volunteers, and we have seasonal volunteers. A lot of interns like to stay on, which I love to see, as year-round volunteers. We've had some volunteers here for over 20 years. And they have a lot of knowledge. They can help us to train new volunteers as well. With the seasonal volunteers, they're not doing any hands-on animal work, but they are very, very supportive in providing all of the kitchen work. They know dishes, they can prepare the fish. They'll help us to scrub any dirty kennels or do laundry. Anything like that is very, very helpful for the team. It allows us to take care of the patients and focus on like bigger issues with the animals themselves. So all members of the animal care volunteer team are super important, but we do like to have our seasonals to focus on certain aspects. That way can step away We also have an education team. So on the education side, if anyone has been for a visit, we've got gift store volunteers, docents, greeters. We also have volunteers that can do outreach. So they can get out to the community, they can talk about Marine Mammal Care Center and invite people to come down for a visit. With our education team, we have been building up our visitor side. So we've got a really awesome visitor experience now where we have skulls that you can look at and compare seals versus sea lions. We have pelts on the table so you can touch them. Can't touch live ones, but you can touch these ones. We've got skeletons, we've got different exhibits, and different ways that people can pledge to serve or to play a role in ocean conservation. So our education team is helping to put together a story to tell our visitors and inspire them in ocean conservation. And we are all one big team, so really appreciate all members of our volunteer team. We have Pinniped Patrol volunteers, which is a newer category of volunteers. These people are out on the beaches in different locations who are responding to any messages about patient strandings in Santa Monica. So that if a member of the public calls about a sea lion in Santa Monica, and we need to also respond to an animal in Redondo Beach, we can alert the Pinniped Patrol and ask them to go out and see if they can talk to members of the public and inform them that help is on the way, or to help to provide a protective barrier so that animal can rest. So Pinniped Patrol volunteers, we've got volunteers who are helping with fundraising and development. And if you wanted to do like a second role, whenever I put out an email where I'm asking for help with outreach or with different fundraising events, definitely feel free to jump right in. Other skills, I love it when I hear that volunteers are also creative and paint or draw or anything like that. Because for the past 3 or 4 years, I've been sending out birthday cards with different volunteers artwork on it, or we sell them in the gift store. So there's different skills that we can also tap into with our volunteer team. In animal care, like I said, a lot of the things that you'll be doing include cleaning, you'll be doing diet prep, and you'll be feeding the patients. There's, of course, lots of things that happen along the way. There's lots of skills for you to learn. So you'll be helping with all different aspects of patient care. All right, in terms of the commitment, like we talked about in our interviews, it'll be a total of 300 hours. You'll be here on site with us for about 3 to 4 months after your initial start date. And you'll be doing somewhere between 6 to 8 hours per day, depending on the patient caseload and the time of day that your shift is. The training we are working on revamping. So thank you in advance for your patience with this. We're working on creating videos and outlines for you to work through. And there'll probably be a quiz after each skill learned, just so that we make sure that everything that we're teaching you is uniform and that there's less or everything is more consistent. So bear with us as we go through our training. But we'll first start with all the skills that are outside of the pens. So your first day, you will not be jumping in and feeding the patients right away, but you'll be learning definitely the fundamental skills. You'll be learning how to weigh out the feeds, thaw the fish, do the dishes. You might be helping with laundry. You will be helping to monitor the feeds and taking notes on how the patients are doing. That way you can kind of learn the numbering system and how to read the shave markings. You'll be learning how we take notes on each patient, but you'll also be making observations about how your peers are interacting with these animals, how they're using their boards to get in safely and get out and protect other team members. So even though a lot of it will be not hands-on for the first week or two of your internship, you will get there. We will teach you everything. We just want to make sure that you have a good introduction and that we can do everything nice and safely for you. On your first shift, we are asking everybody to go through the main doors. I'm sorry, it's shadowy. I just took this picture today, and the sun was already changing. But there are main doors right over here. We have our pledge wall on the left of it, so that's how you know you'll be heading in the right direction. Our visitor center and gift store is the first building you'll see, so just go between or yeah, after that building and head into these blue doors here to meet your team members. All right, for your first day of your internship, we just ask you if you can be punctual. Try to arrive 5 to 10 minutes before your shift starts. That way you can make sure that you're parking, you can gear up in your car if you're using your own gear or use ours. And then by the time your shift starts, you'll be ready to go. Anyone who is scheduled on Monday, sorry, said it wrong. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we're saving the spots direct or immediately in front of the center for our visitors. So if you can do us a huge favor, and if you're scheduled on one of those 4 days and just park in the International Bird Rescue Center's parking lot, or under on Leavenworth Drive, there's going to be plenty of parking over there. If you haven't already, please submit your paperwork to me or bring that on your first day. We are also asking everyone if they can upload a picture of yourself to My Impact, just so that we can recognize you on your first day. If you don't know how to do that, you can send me your picture and I can upload it for you. But if you try it yourself, then you'll be familiar with how to use My Impact and how to log your hours for your shift. There's going to be a lot of information on that first day. So I want you to be very honest with us. If you need anything to be repeated or explained, definitely ask. Ask lots of questions. This is a learning experience for you. And it'll help us to learn how to train everyone a little bit better and how the communication can be better. So just ask us if you have any questions. All right, so with Better Impact, has everyone had a chance to use Better Impact yet to sign on? Okay, I see a thumbs up from Sarah. Perfect. If you don't, cool, I see Sophia and Natalie have also. Great. If you haven't, you can go to My Impact, which is, I think I sent you the link when I first sent your acceptance letter. So go ahead and try that. Your username is the one that you first used when you submitted an application for this internship. Once you are logged in, you'll go to Marine Mammal Care Center. Other organizations use this app as well, so definitely make sure you choose Marine Mammal Care Center. Once you hit that, you'll hit the Start Clock button. Scroll down to Animal Care Training Program Internship, and you'll have to hit Start Clock until you get back to the home screen where it'll say Stop Clock. That's how you know that your time clock is running. It's when you get back to the screen right over here. Then you'll be logging your hours. There is a way to do it if you want to log your hours once you get home or if you forget to. But I find that it's easiest if you forget to hit Stop Clock. Totally fine. I can do it for you. But if you just keep your time clock running, I kind of have an understanding of what time you left. And then I can stop that time clock for you. And then when you go to stop to clock out for the end of your shift, you can hit Stop Clock. If you are logging on for one of our volunteer enrichment meetings and you want to do that as well, you can log those hours as well, and you should be doing that as well. Or this Zoom orientation, you can log that 1 hour under trainings and meetings. So instead of going to Animal Care Training Program Internship, you could go to Training and Meeting, and then you can log that hour there too. So that way we can kind of get a good understanding of how much time is being contributed to our organization, and we can share that with our funders. All right, some safety things. You'll be learning about all the gear that is important when you're working with these wild animals. So definitely just make sure to pay attention to your staff members, and any gloves that they recommend you use, definitely make sure you use that. Whenever you go into a pen with a patient, you'll always use a board, but don't go into the pen until you've got that boarding training going on, or if someone gives you the clear to run in and grab something. So definitely just make sure you listen and pay attention to what staff members are saying. If you are uncomfortable with anything or you need to watch it again, definitely make sure you speak up. We want to keep you safe. By keeping you safe, we're also keeping the patients safe as well, and the rest of the team. So some of the gear that you'll use include these big coveralls. And I think I sent some links to the gear, so it doesn't have to match, doesn't have to be the same color, style, or it should be kind of the same style, but it doesn't have to be the same brand. So you should be wearing these big waders. We'll also have boots, and then gloves. So with the gloves, we have disposable gloves underneath, and then the big welding gloves. You don't need to worry about buying the big welding gloves unless you would like to. But definitely the bare minimum will be these big waders, the boots, and disposable gloves. I think that's what we said. Just because we are limited on space and we'll have a lot of people on site, if you have anything large, please try to keep that in your car. We will have cubbies on site, so you can use those, but we also have a lot of people that are coming in for shifts. So if there's anything large that you can keep in your car, we truly appreciate it if you do. We have, since you'll be with us for 6 to 8 hours every day, we have a refrigerator on site, so definitely make sure you bring your lunch and you can put it in the refrigerator. We also have water for you. So bring your water bottles. You can refill your bottles here. And just check with your supervisors when you're going to be taking your breaks. Since we are working with wild animals and they are exposed to all kinds of diseases, wash your hands often. Anytime you're about to leave the animal care space, take off your gloves, dispose of them properly, wash your hands before you eat. Just make sure you're keeping nice and clean. And then if you are sick, I will send, here's the phone number and the procedure to call out. So if there's any known absence that you have before your shift starts, I'd say about a week before the shift, email Kim at kbots@marinemammalcare.org. Tell the leads that are on your shift, and that way everyone who is on shift will know not to expect you that day. We know that anything can happen last minute. So if there's anything that comes up within 72 hours, you're going to text this phone number, 323-999-1662, and that will alert any of the staff members that you will not be there. So if Kim does not see your email on time, then you can, then that text will go to everybody. In the text, please leave your name, the shift that you're missing, and when you expect to return, and then just follow up with the email to Kim for courtesy. So this part is for any planned absences, and this is for any unexpected absences. So with zoonotic potential, that's anything that can spread from different animals. So it can transfer from the sea lions to other sea lions, or sea lions to you, or you to your animal at home. So definitely want to make sure that we're reducing the risk of that spreading. The best way to do that is making sure you're washing down your gear every time you are done with your shift here, and then staying clean as much as possible when you're on site. I do like to bring a couple layers and just have that in my trunk just in case. But the best way to reduce risk is just to make sure that you're following the protocol that's given by the staff. These are wild animals, and so you are at risk of being bitten. We have these thick gloves for you to use, and that's going to help with bite prevention. But definitely the boots, the slickers, and the boards will all help you keep nice and safe. We'll go through safety on your first day. We'll have you read through a manual just to make sure that you're aware of all these things. But the best way to make sure that you are staying nice and safe is by following the techniques that are taught to you during your training and adhering to those protocols. Because these animals are federally protected, we have a photo policy, which is no photos while you're in the pens with the patients. If there's anything that we're posting online that you would like to reshare, definitely reshare any content that you see posted on our Instagram or Facebook. But please don't bring any of your phones back to the animal care area. We are on LA Unified property, like I said a little bit earlier. So please don't bring any alcohol, drugs, or firearms while you're on site. If you happen to be bitten or injured on site, I think I sent everybody the insurance. So if you need to make a trip to urgent care, we can cover that deductible. But we will also fill out a report so that we can make things safer for the next people that are working. All right, some of your perks. So on one of your first shifts, you will get a volunteer shirt. If you're not offered it right away, just come to my office. I work in the education lab, and I can give you a volunteer shirt. You don't have to use it like a uniform. You can wear whatever you would like. But this is just if you would like to wear it to your shifts, you can. You also get 10% off in the gift store. I'll do little appreciation events throughout the year. One of the coolest parts, though, is working with the protected species like the elephant seals and the California sea lions, of course, and being a part of our mission. Some people like to find out other ways to get involved, and there are employee match programs out there where your employers will donate based on how much volunteer work that you are doing. So if you have that, send me the paperwork, I can sign that. You can continue to share our mission with your friends and family. You can bring them on site with you and have them watch you in action. That's always really fun. But there's also different one-off roles like the outreach events and the fundraising events or release events that you are welcome to participate in as well. All right, and with that, that is your orientation for the internship. Does anyone have any questions for me? All right, no, it looks like we're all good for today. So thank you so much for joining me for your orientation. I will be sending you the recording so that if you missed any of it or would like to review, you can go back and review it. If you have any questions until then, please feel free to reach out, and we'll see you in the next couple of months. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Thank you. Have a good one.